What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Tuesday, April 13th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, I'm still losing my voice a little bit here, so thank you for tuning in and putting up with it. Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Lucas Giolito pitching against the Cleveland Indians. Lucas Giolito, he pitches his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .558 OPS versus righties. Then he's facing 4 righties here tonight. On top of that, the Cleveland Indians have only hit 16 of his last 74 pitches, batting a .216 batting average, and Lucas Giolito is $9,800 FanDuel salary, and he's the same price on DraftKings. He's projected at 33 fantasy points here tonight. He had an ERA of 3.48 last year. His record was 4-3 on the season, pitching an average of 101 pitches per game, averaging 40 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 43, 34, and 52 fantasy points in his last 3 games. And I like this pick because Vegas only thinks there's going to be 7 runs in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Lucas Giolito here versus the Cleveland Indians.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal,
All you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
and then we'll send you $100 PayPal.
So it's that easy.
And we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video.
So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the first base position. I like Joey Votto with a 33% batting advantage over Kevin Gausman. Joey Votto is batting 20% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .841 OPS versus righties. And Kevin Gausman throws his worst ball versus lefty batters, 13% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .739 OPS versus lefties. And Joey Votto is 4 for 5, batting .800 batting average and a 2.150 OPS versus Gausman. One of those 4 hits is for a home run. And Joey Votto is only $2,500 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,900 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. He's projected at 10 fantasy points here tonight, and he averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 19, 3, and 3 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Joey Votto here versus Kevin Gausman. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Jonathan Schoop with a 49% batting advantage over Jake Odorizzi. Jonathan Schoop bats 9% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .809 OPS versus righties. And Jake Odorizzi, he throws his worst ball versus righty batters, 40% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a .172 OPS versus righties. And Jonathan Schoop is 12 for 34, batting a .353 batting average and a .980 OPS versus Odorizzi. Jonathan Schoop is only $2,200 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,000 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 10.3 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 6 and 6 fantasy points in his last 2 games. So I like this matchup. Excellent player versus batter versus pitcher history here. So I like Jonathan Schoop here versus Jake Odorizzi. Okay, who do we have at the third base position? I like Justin Turner with a 10% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Justin Turner bats 19% better versus righty pitchers, and Antonio Senzatella is giving up a .711 OPS versus righties. Oh, and Turner bats a .898 OPS versus righties. So Justin Turner is 7 for 19, batting a .368 batting average and a .821 OPS versus Senzatella. Justin Turner is $3,600 FanDuel salary and $1,700 more on DraftKings. Projected at 11 fantasy points here tonight, he scored 0, 19, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Justin Turner here versus Antonio Senzatella. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? If you want to go for a Dodgers stack here, I like Corey Seager with a 25% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Corey Seager bats 17% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .991 OPS versus righties. And Antonio Senzatella, we know he pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 9% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .780 OPS versus lefties. And Corey Seager is 7 for 17, batting a .412 batting average and a 1.298 OPS versus Senzatella. 2 of those 7 hits are for home runs. And Corey Seager is $3,900 FanDuel salary and $1,600 more on DraftKings. Projected at 11.9 fantasy points here tonight. He's averaged 13 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 6 and 9 fantasy points in his last 2 games. So I like Corey Seager here versus Antonio Senzatella.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
So the other shortstop that I like if you want to save some salary at this position is David Fletcher with a 55% batting advantage over Danny Duffy. David Fletcher bats 18% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .909 OPS versus lefties. And Danny Duffy throws his worst ball versus righty batters, 37% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .910 OPS versus righties. Now Fletcher is only 1 for 5 versus Duffy, but he is only $2,600 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,800 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. David Fletcher is projected at 10.1 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 9, 6, and 3 fantasy points in the last 3 games. I think he makes a good low salary FanDuel play. Number 1 in the batting order, should get plenty of opportunity here in a plus matchup. So I like David Fletcher here versus Danny Duffy. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Another value play for you here. I like Jesse Winker with a 21% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Kevin Gausman. Jesse Winker bats 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .944 OPS versus righties. In Kevin Gausman, we know he throws his worst ball versus lefty batters, 13% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .739 OPS versus lefties. And Jesse Winker is 2 for 5, batting a .400 batting average and a .900 OPS versus Gausman. Winker is projected at 11.2 fantasy points here tonight. He's only $2,800 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,800 more on DraftKings. He averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 25, 0, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Jesse Winker here versus Kevin Gausman.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.